Hello, hello.
Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. We're out here today at a park near a building, just enjoying the long Easter weekend.
Beautiful day today,
Yes.
Toronto.
So thought we'd take advantage of it.
hmm
But we just wanted to come and talk to you guys today because there's a theme that seems to be reoccurring with different people that we've been watching and reading, such as Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, just different people. And to be honest, it was a concept that I didn't even really understand a few months ago, and I'm really beginning to kind of get it now because I'm living it every single day. So the concept we're talking about is kind of pulling from opposite directions and how that's a necessity and that's needed. It's not contradictory, it's not hypocritical, it's absolutely necessary when you're growing a business. So we want to talk about four different parts of that.
Yep.
So the first one that we want to talk about is self-awareness and empathy. So self-awareness essentially just meaning knowing what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and just really where your strengths lie, and becoming, just mastering those the best that you can. And you're always going to have weaknesses, and you need to become at least competent in those, but do not completely just focus on those. Do what you're good at, even when it comes to, let's say, even social media. So if you're a really good writer, you should be focusing on writing. If you're not as good on video, then that's okay. No one is perfect at everything. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses. And there's a certain amount of confidence that you need to do that as well, to admit
Right.
that those weaknesses, and that's where the empathy comes in.
Right.
Knowing that there are certain weaknesses that you need to work on, and when you're giving advice to people, it's also crucial that you give criticism that is honest and not rude, not to be mean, but to be honest and to help them to know where their strengths and weaknesses lie as well. And that's where empathy comes in, right? I don't expect to be good at everything, so even we have had conversations lately where it's, yeah, maybe this is something I really need to work on, and I have to agree with that because I know I'm still learning. It's a process, so you need to be willing to be honest, but in a loving and compassionate way, and know that it's coming from a good spot.
Yeah, definitely. The second thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the whole concept between the macro, right, which is your long-term goal, your ultimate outcome, the best possible scenario, the ultimate destination. And I get that you're probably gonna say, well, Andres, but isn't it like not about the destination, but it's about the journey? And yeah, of course, but you also need to have specific goals that are long-term goals. I don't know, I don't only mean a 1-year goal, a 5-year goal. Like, where do you want to be in life? Like, what's the ultimate vision, right?
And yeah.
And you gotta be extremely patient, and that's the macro aspect versus the micro, which is being extremely fast on your day-to-day basis. And that's the hustle, and that's the side hustling versus main hustle, and doing all that balance, right? A lot of people fail to realize that it's both, right? It's not that you either patient or you're trying to go too fast. It's both. You gotta be patient on your long term, to know that it's all about the long term, but be very quick and very actionable when it comes to the day to day, and do, right? I think one of the main things that happens is people um, rather have $10 now than $20 later, right? People want to just profit quick for the short term, make a quick buck, and they forget that they're building a business, right? And that goes for anything. That goes for advertising. A lot of these businesses owners that I talk to, they always say, well, what's the ROI in this? What I'm like, man, like, you're building a business. You gotta make sure that you're testing, that you're a practitioner of all the different things that can make you potentially a lot of money, a lot of exposure, and do right. Because like a lot of times, what happens is people are more afraid of losing than the excitement of winning, and therefore they don't do anything, right? So be careful with that whole macro versus micro aspect.
Yeah, definitely. So the next one that we're going to talk about is the ego versus humility. So this can definitely be easily tied back to number one that I talked about. But this is something that I definitely struggle with finding the balance. And the balance only comes from really having both extremes, not from being lukewarm in the middle. And that goes with any of these, right?
That's true. It's
the
redefining
extremes
balance.
of both.
Yeah.
So overall, my personality has always been, with the exception of around family and close friends, overall more introverted. And I was really worried about, you know, having to go on camera and talk to people and give advice and just general things that, you know, I wasn't maybe a huge fan of and I got nervous about.
Yeah.
But I really had to push myself out and become more confident. And I need to, especially when I've put the time and effort into learning it, and I do know what I'm talking about. I need to be confident in sharing that message and not be afraid of being judged or,
Yeah.
you know, just worrying about silly things that in the end are not shouldn't matter,
Yeah, that's
because
right.
we're trying to build something really important. Our end
Yeah.
vision, I know that it's a positive vision, and I know what I'm trying to do. I know my heart, so just not
It's your
worrying about that.
truth.
So being confident, and that's the ego.
Yeah.
But again, on the other side, the whole humility with knowing that you are still learning. You're always learning. You're always going to be a teacher and a student forever. You're going to
Yeah.
be both.
You're gonna be
right?
both, right? Yeah.
So again, yeah, just being humble enough to know
Yeah.
that I may still make a mistake, and what I said yesterday, even though that was my truth yesterday, I may change
Yeah.
that opinion because I'm learning more every single day,
Very true.
and knowing that I'm still taking advice while I'm giving it. Again, it's both extremes.
Yeah, and then lastly, it's the balance between, or redefining balance, as you said, between speaking and listening, right? And then Gary always gets criticized for this. You know, he talks too much, but at the same time, he's the one that listens the most on all over social media, right? And I think that's one of the main things that businesses struggle. How much should they put out as far as me, and how much should they be giving, listening, interacting, right? But you gotta be doing both, and you gotta do both equally as good. That's why it's pulling from opposite directions. Because
Right.
you know, being in the middle means that sometimes you listen, sometimes you don't, right? What I'm talking about is 100% and 100%, right? Similar concept actually of redefining how you see relationships too, right? For example, you've heard say, hey, you know, I'm looking for my better half, or you know, my half and my other half, and you know, and that goes with that first primitive, well, primitive now to me, concept of the balance, you know, being in the middle and being on that half and half. Wrong. It's you need to have two whole people that are coming to marriage or coming to a relationship together with as much preparation as possible, so that then together you can form something amazing together, right? Same deal. It's not just speaking and listening, you know, halfway. It's speaking properly and passionately and boldly and, you know, all the way, but also listening and knowing that you are paying your full attention to whatever that is, and make sure that it's like quality on both ends, right? Same deal with the whole work-life balance, right? It's not being in the middle and doing it mediocre, or trying to balance it. It's having amazing quality times and crazy fast
Right.
quality work
We were really talking about this the other
aspects,
day,
right?
because
Yeah, we're struggling with that stuff too.
well, yeah, it's always going to be a process. I think
Yeah.
we're definitely, well, it's getting better as it should over time. But I know it's very easy to look at people who are trying to build a business and trying to do very big things in the world, and kind of assume that because they're working so much, they're probably not spending a lot of time together, or they're probably not
Right.
working on their relationship. And to be honest, that could be the farthest thing from the truth. If
Yeah.
anything, this journey together, trying to make our business and
We're
establishing our goals and
we're
vision,
designing
has
our
made us
life, guys. We're like designing our
made us
marriage.
closer.
We're this, yeah, of course, so
Definitely.
much closer. Yeah, yeah. A lot of couples are usually, you know, like so different in their vision in life, right? Like, you know, she wants to do one thing, he wants to do another, and they're both just, you know, coming home after spending some time together, and then, you know, back the next day, you know, into these different paths, right?
Which
The
is
more,
usually
yeah,
because they haven't even discussed
they
vision.
haven't even
And
architect their
that's
lives,
such a
right?
common thing. I mean, even yesterday we were,
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, again, our vision of our goal has become a lot clearer. But even yesterday we were like, you know what, we could get a lot more
A
specific.
lot more
with this.
specific. Oh yeah, and watch for for those series of videos. We're gonna tell you guys exactly how, what, and where we want to be in the next, you know, 23 years. Our first goal is when we're 40, so we'll tell you everything we need to accomplish, and we'll go as specific as we did, and go by sections. You know, there's stuff that we want to have, stuff that where we want to be, people that we want to help, or organizations or movements, or, you know, we'll monetary, how much money we want to be making. You know, we'll go through the whole ordeal and share with you guys. So stay tuned. Thanks for you know, listening to all of our videos, and we hope we're bringing you value with the Martinez and Company clan,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Take it easy, guys, and cheers. Enjoy
Bye,
the rest of
guys.
your day.